I think he said like last 6-7 months. He goes, yeah, he's gonna knock out Jake Paul.
Wow.
I'm like, okay, I'm sure a lot of people would love to watch that and see that.
One thing that Chavez has is experience. He may not have the youth, you know what I mean, and the agility that Jake has right now, but he does have the experience, and I think that experience will give Jake a problem.
This fight does become a little bit of a dangerous one for Jake, not because Chavez Jr. is in his prime anymore. He's still going to be a shell of that early 20s Julio Cesar Chavez.
Boxing experts say Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. has everything he needs to crush Jake Paul. Trainer Robert Garcia boldly claims Julio won't even have to try hard. His experience and raw talent will be enough to dominate. Many see Julio as a real threat, predicting not only an easy win, but also a huge payday, proving he's still a real player in the sport, unlike internet fighters trying to play boxer.
I love Chavez.
I fucking love that dude. He's cool as fuck. I love that dude.
He's gonna win.
Okay, if he wins, what does it say?
Nothing.
Chavez gonna win.
What does that say if he beats Jake Paul?
Not much, just a good win. A lot of millions of dollars, and then maybe do a rematch, which is badass. Make a lot of money.
Oscar de la Hoya isn't holding back. He says Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. is coming back strong and Jake Paul is in serious trouble. According to de la Hoya, Julio's been training hard and means business. This isn't just another fight. It's a chance for real boxing fans to finally watch Jake Paul get humbled. With Julio's power and pedigree, people are expecting a beatdown, and Jake's critics are ready to celebrate.
Better, and he's doing good, and I've seen him train lately. I've talked to the father, and he says, look, if my son shows up to the ring the way I've seen him in the last few months, I think he said like last 6-7 months, he goes, yeah, he's gonna knock out Jake Paul.
Wow.
I'm like, okay, I'm sure a lot of people would love to watch that and see that. So yeah, don't miss the fight. June 28th. It's gonna be crazy. No, it is. I mean, because Jake Paul actually has, it's not that he has something to prove, but he actually can prove something here. Chavez Jr. went the distance with Canelo, right? In Canelo's prime. And so imagine if Jake Paul like knocks out Chavez Jr., then what? Then what?
No me gusta eso.
No, but you know what I'm saying?
Bad.
But then again, Chavez Jr. can get redemption for himself, but also for all the people that hate Jake Paul.
Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. isn't lacking confidence, and he's not pretending Jake Paul is on his level. He says his world titles, long career, and boxing bloodline make Jake look like an amateur. Julio doesn't see this as cocky, just facts. He's fought real fighters, not influencers. To him, this fight isn't a challenge. It's already won.
This is your first fight in 2.5 years.
Yeah.
When do you want to come back? Who do you want to fight?
Oh man, I don't care, you know. Jake Paul?
You want Jake Paul next?
Yes, why not?
If he wins tonight?
Yes, I want.
You think you could beat him?
I'm a better fighter than these opponents, so that's for sure.
Jake Paul's whole boxing career is built on hype and headlines. He claims he picks tough fights to entertain fans and make money. But critics say it's all about clout, not legacy. By choosing opponents with big names or size, Jake wants people to think he's more than a YouTuber. Now he's fighting Julio, a former world champ, trying to shut up the doubters. But some still say he's just playing dress-up in a sport that demands the real deal.
The pursuit of a world title.
Yeah, look, I always said it. I'm going to fight really tough people, and I'm going to fight big money fights. You know, this is prize fighting. And so I'm giving the fans what they want with every single fight, taking on tougher opponents, and this is just that.
I can't help but notice it's a cruiserweight fight. The co-main event is a cruiserweight world title. If you look just to your right, there are two belts sitting there on the stage. Is it at all in your mind, if you beat Julio Cesar Chavez Jr., that a matchup with that man, Zurdo Ramirez, might not be far behind?
Yeah, 100%, man. This is what I came here to do, is become world champion and to create one of the greatest sports stories the world has ever seen. Going from Disney Channel to YouTube to world champion in 6 to 7 years, that's the most relatable and best sports story that any kid can get behind, and that's what I'm here to do, is inspire the next generation and do what no one's ever done before in the world's hardest sport, which is boxing.
You faced some hostile environments in the past, the Nate Diaz fight being one of them, but this might be the most hostile you've walked into. Southern California, 2 Mexicans on the card. What do you think about fighting in this type of atmosphere?
Man, the Mexicans love me, bro. Like, I'm stepping into my home environment. They love me more than they love this guy.
Jeff Mayweather isn't buying the hype. He admits Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. was a serious fighter once, but not anymore. To him, this fight is more smoke than fire. He compares it to fighting a washed-up legend. It looks good on paper, but the truth is, Julio's way past his prime. Jeff sees this as a smart move for Jake's resume, not a real challenge.
He tried to fight Canelo backed out, all that kind of stuff, but is this, another name that just, like I said, gives the detractors more feel for their fighter? Does this help Jake at all?
I don't think it's really going to help him that much. I mean, it will in the sense that he fought a legitimate fighter that actually was a professional fighter and a world champion. But to get him after a 5-year layoff and him being inactive is almost just like fighting Mike Tyson.
From a money angle, this fight is a no-brainer. Jake Paul is a master at selling hype, and throwing in a faded former champ like Julio just adds fuel. It's legacy meets controversy, and that combo sells, even if the fight itself is past its prime. Julio's got the name, Jake's got the spotlight, and together they're cashing in. Hardcore fans and curious casuals alike can't look away from this strange, headline-grabbing matchup.
Let's find a real boxer. This man's an ex-world champion. He's way smaller when he was competing.
Yeah.
He had to come up to my weight. He's the son of a legend. I'm now Puerto Rican.
Yeah.
He's Mexican. It's the best you could do. It's brilliant.
Yeah.
From a business standpoint, it's brilliant. You can't really do better than that if you're not trying to feed man to the wolves. But you're trying to make it appear so.
But do you reckon it's going to generate numbers?
Good question.
It depends how they market it.
It depends what Chavez comes on.
Yeah.
Because Jake won't be able to push this himself. It depends what Chavez comes on. If Chavez comes on some like, listen bro,
I'm going to teach you boxing.
I'm going to teach you boxing. Yeah, then it can sell.
That type of energy.
But if he comes on the vibe we know he's on, which is why even his dad don't really mess with him.
Yeah.
Then it's not going to be interesting, bruv. It's not. Chavez is a bit booky with his behaviors.
What did Chavez fight Anderson Silva at? What weight? Was it a catch weight?
Despite the haters, Jake Paul swears he's taking this fight dead serious. He's training hard and knows Julio's no pushover. For Jake, this isn't just another big check. It's a chance to finally prove he's more than a sideshow. He says he's ready for war, even if many still think he's playing boxer, not living it. Love him or hate him, Jake's treating this like a career-defining moment.
It's not going to be me, but I'm training harder than ever. I know this is my toughest opponent yet. Maybe not the biggest name opponent yet, but it's still going to be a super, super good fight. So make sure everyone pull up Anaheim, California, Ticketmaster.com. Be there, baby.
I was going to say that, do you think this is the toughest opponent? Obviously, he's still a guy who was, he's not all that old. He's got a ton of fights. He's got, I think, 61 pro fights. Think this is the toughest challenge for you if you take everything into consideration?
Yeah, taking everything into consideration and how hard he's training behind the scenes, people saying that this is the most serious he's ever taken a fight, and the fact that he's a former world champion, 30-something knockouts, and I think he wants to put Mexico on his back and represent, and he doesn't want to lose to a guy like me because he knows that's going to hurt his legacy that he's built for himself.
Yeah, I was going to say, Jake, you see video of him, it looks like he's training hard. I think if there's one criticism, obviously, as you know, of his that people have always said is that, hey, he doesn't train hard, doesn't work as hard as he should, but he's a guy with a lot of talent. But if he is working hard and he does still have that talent, obviously, that could make for a dangerous opponent, couldn't it?
Yeah, 100%. And that's what I bring out of my opponents. Even when I fly sparring partners in, they go harder than they normally do with other guys because they want to prove a point because it's me. They don't want to get beat up by a guy who's only been doing this for 5 years or so. So they always bring their A game, and that's why I'm always at my best as well because I have to bring my A game.
Whether you see it as a legit showdown or just another circus fight, one thing's certain. Jake Paul versus Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. has people talking. It's legacy versus clout, old school versus new wave. Will Jake finally silence the doubters? Or will Julio remind the world what a real boxer looks like? The answer's coming in the ring, and you won't want to miss it. Like content that tells it straight, no fluff? Subscribe now for more raw takes, bold predictions, and the truth behind the headlines.